We're just going to check the audio in case anyone... How does the audio sound? Okay. Might be because of the time. Is it come on yet? It's probably still because it's setting to come on at 1:45. It says I'm live now. Can you hear me clearly? Yeah? Let's go then. So hello and happy new year for 2026. And I actually did think that my last video on Sunday was the last one of the year, but I forgot that. I'm trying to do 2 a week. So that was the whole purpose of this video. Was a lot of people are posting on social media their year in review. So a lot of carousels on Instagram showing what people have got up to over the previous 12 months. And there's quite a lot of influential people online where they've put up certain videos where it says along the lines of, if you haven't done X by this point now in this year, then next year is already ruined. And I think it's already setting people up for negativity, for no success going forward. So that's why I wanted to touch upon a few things that you should look at if you want to improve your health going forward and you want to sit in 12 months time in a position where you're looking back and looking at all the health gains that you've got. So the first one is, well, if we look straight away at when we start the new year. So the 1st of January, you get to replay the whole year that happened previously, but with a new set of eyes. And when you look at it from a point of view that it's probably the hardest time to restart your year and habits. And that's because, especially in the UK, Northern Europe, the daylight hours are pretty low. So you're going into this with high motivation, but then all the other external factors that are put in front of you, so the weather, temperature, all these other things, you're waking up in the dark, going to work, coming home in the dark, everything is against you. And then people wonder why by week 2, I think there's a crazy statistic where 50% of people have already fallen off the New Year's resolutions. And then for the rest of the year, they just sort of fumble around and do what they want to do. And there's no real target, real aim. So that's the one thing I would say, is that the year should actually be set from March to March or April to April, like the tax year. But if you are going into it where the 1st of January is a clean start, then don't go in it with the full expectation that you are going to completely reverse what's happened in the previous 12 months. So for me, for example, one thing that I am inherently bad at is getting up early. And I obviously want to be one of them people that get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, go and get a lot of stuff done before the rest of the world wakes up, and you can go about your day in a different mindset. I know that going from a quarter to, well, at 7 o'clock, wake up, 7:15, wake up now, to 5 o'clock is not going to happen overnight. And I've got to do it gradually to then break the loop. Otherwise, motivation will be low if I don't meet certain things. And then I'm going to go back into the same cycle. And I'll be sitting here in December 26 saying I still wake up at 7, 7:15 with no resolution in sight. So a lot of people do say, but you've got to be smart with your objectives. You've got to be specific. You've got to have it where it's actually achievable, and then it will accumulate over time, because a lot of people this year have been married on my social media, and when they sit down to initially book that wedding, it's normally 18 months in advance. 18 months in advance, and they'll sit there, and if they don't have that fund, so £10,000, let's say, it's not like they neglect it and say it's not going to happen, I can't get it, let's leave it. They chip away at it, and they do so over a prolonged period of time. But when it comes to people's health and fitness, it's the exact opposite. If they can't get used to a new gym routine, they can't eat a certain diet, they can't go about certain stress management values or mechanics, then they completely abort it and go back to square one. So that's the first thing, is actually set achievable, measurable targets. The next thing is to actually understand that modern biology and modern environmental factors are completely against what the human body is meant to be doing. So if you look at what's happened in the last, let's say from the 1960s and 70s up until the present day, evolution of the environment has just been so rapid. AI, even in the last few years, has taken over a lot of jobs. It's taken the world by surprise. Look at the introduction of ultra-processed food, mainly after the war. And you can see the benefits of ultra-processed food in that regards, that you can manage its production however we now know that there's a lot of health defects due to that. But so many things have happened over this short period of time where the human genome has not been able to evaluate and evolve at the same rate. So the body, and this is where it comes to health and fitness, is that a lot of people will be sitting there tomorrow saying, I'm going to start a new diet. And that's the biggest number one thing. People want to look aesthetic. They're not really too bothered about how they're functioning, but they want to look better. And the body is programmed to putting on weight. That is what we are meant to do. We have never lived in energy abundance in our lives. We've never been able to sit there and constantly consume energy in the form of food and not have to work for it. So anytime body energy comes into the body, you will assess it in the same way. Do we have an immediate need for it now? If not, which is more than likely the majority of the time, because we are office based, we are ironically the most connected generation that there has ever been, but then we are less connected because it's all artificial, it's all online. Anyway, energy comes in. Do we need it now? No, which is going to be the majority of the time. So let's put it towards storage, which is going into fat. And you need to override this system. And it's not going to come easy. And people think that it should be easy because someone else has made it look easy. Now, the social media, it's got many benefits. I utilize it for trying to grow a brand, but there are a lot of insecurities that come from it. There are a lot of people that may be misinformed. They may look at someone else and think it's highly achievable what they've done, or may be misled. Obviously, at the moment, there's a lot of male influencers coming out where we have now found out that they are using enhancement therapy, testosterone or peptide, whatever it may be, but it's not natural. So you're sitting there, even people like me, sitting there thinking, how have these people achieved that body or that performance? It's obviously not natural. It's been exogenously given. So that's what I'm trying to say, is you need to look at your own body, your own physiology, and go about it your own way, and actually acknowledge that you are trying to fight what is happening with the modern environment. You are going to be up for a battle, but it's whether you want to win the battle and come out the other end with good health, or you want to lose the battle and go into a negative mindset and then have a lot of health complications down the line. But I think another thing that I would like to touch upon before I end is, at what point should you measure your health and what is a reasonable time frame? If we're just looking at blood tests, for example, so let's look at diabetes, something that's close to my heart, is that every 3 to 4 months you are able to recheck something called the HbA1c, which is glycolated or glycated hemoglobin, which gives you an average reading of blood sugar over the previous 3 to 4 months. So if you are changing a lot of things drastically within your diet, you can do immediate glucose readings, but it doesn't really give you any trends or averages. So then from that respect, you would have to be 3 to 4 months where you are trying something out new before you would see the benefits of it. So when people go all in and think 2 weeks is enough, just by going off a blood test itself, you're looking at 3 to 4 months. A lot of blood tests, maybe 6 months. So that is where I try and change people's mindset to look at things as opposed to maybe 8 to 10 weeks. Look at it over the year. And believe me, when you look back in 12 months' time and you've set all these parameters up, you will have such a better understanding of what your body can do. You will have a better understanding of what health is. And yeah, I think that's just the biggest thing that's coming up. A lot of people are becoming more conscious of health. I see a lot more personal trainers trying to include a lot more of the teachings of health and physiology within their courses, and it's good to see. But then also I do feel as though a lot of these people truly don't understand the true complexities of what is going on a pathological scale. I mean, I look into it all the time. Me and my partner have just been going through insulin resistance, and to tell you what we don't know, and even leading experts don't know, it's monumental. So then for someone to come across who is not well versed in medicine or health or physiology to then simplify something that is too complex will give you the wrong outcomes going down the line. But they do have the place, but I don't think it's within health teaching. But yeah, if you do come across a lot of these videos where it's telling people that they should have started yesterday, ignore it. I'm sort of rambling now because I sort of had to fit this video in. I've promised myself that I am going to be doing 2 videos a week. Even though today is New Year's Eve, I've got a meal coming up later on and many other things planned. Obviously, I've got no notes, I never do when I do a live or many videos. So I had to fit this in. And going forward, I obviously want this channel in the next year. I've reached 150 subscribers today, which is something that I didn't think I'd achieve come, I think it was August when I really started putting in the effort into YouTube. I think I was on 40, 30 subscribers. It's not massive growth again, if you compare it to all these other creators where they can do thousands of subscribers within a day or within one episode of a video. Obviously it's not monumental, but in comparison to where I was, it's an improvement. And that's the whole point of this channel, is I want to do more informative things where I try and break down the really complex science, because it is complex, and a lot of things in human life anyway is pretty basic, in the sense that the fundamentals: exercise more, eat less processed food, sleep more, stress less. They are big pillars towards good health. But then when you want to delve into certain things, obviously people who are lean can still have diabetes in a type 2 format, which no one who is non-medically trained can tell you the reason why. And even when you are medically trained, the genetics and everything at play is so complex that you wouldn't actually know where to start. So that's my aim, is to try and look into all these things, provide practical insights to use. Also, I am doing it at the same time. I am not in the best biochemical shape that there is. I always try and do a few things. Okay, genetics maybe not on my side in certain circumstances, but there are many things that I can optimize. And that is the whole point. Anything I learn, I put towards the audience. I also put towards myself. I always see it on a daily basis, but it's a bit hard in national health systems because I'm not able to truly exercise what is I have a belief in, which is trying to get people into good health without the need of pharmacotherapy. There will be instances where people need that, but it shouldn't be the first point of call. You shouldn't always be reliant on something without trying it yourself. But yeah, I could go on rambling for ages. I'm pretty sure no one is tuned in. I can't see. I will have a quick glance, but I don't think there is. Yeah, I can't even cut that out now, because if you're watching this in retrospect. Anyway, no one's looking, but if you are watching this in retrospect after it's finished, obviously thanks for watching. Medical disclaimer as always, this is not medical advice. You've not had a relationship, and you should seek medical advice and attention from your local registered provider. Have a good new year, and if there's any suggestions or anything that you feel as though would benefit you from my input or my experience, then by all means comment below. My email's attached to most of the videos anyway, and I will see you in the next video.